Behind me.
What's up, YouTubers? Like and subscribe. Smash the like button.
Yeah. Don't forget to hit that notification
Hey,
bell.
Beth.
Hi Beth. I just thought I'd make this video in case I have grandchildren in the future and they want to know how Grandpa smoked his fish. There's many ways to smoke fish, many recipes. This is just the way I do it. So if you are looking for a recipe, feel free to Google, YouTube, use all the resources available. The method I use is pretty simple. It's just a dry brine of coarse kosher salt and brown sugar. And what I'll be smoking tomorrow is, whoops, it's following my face, 4 packages of steelhead from Costco in Nanaimo. Unfortunately, it is from Argentina, which isn't our preference, but that seems to be all Costco has these days. For the longest time, they were getting steelhead from raised in, I think, a farm on Vancouver Island somewhere. So what I'm going to do is unwrap this fish. I'm not going to wash it first because it'll get thoroughly rinsed tomorrow. And I'll show you about the ratios that I apply the sugar and salt. And let's get into it. See if I can stop this face tracking. Down. Here you go. I've got these kind of glass trays that are meant for baking, and that's what I'll put the fish in to brine it. We'll get to the point where I try to have one clean hand and one dry hand, but for now it's going to be a little messy. One package done. Oh, there's a little pin bone in here. Just for reference, this fish weighs 5.94 kilograms, or about 13 pounds. And today's price, July 22nd, 2025, it was about $165. So certainly not cheap. Fish has gone up in price a lot, along with everything. This video will be filmed in a couple segments because today I'm just preparing it for putting into the smoker tomorrow. So I'm just going to take some salt. Just going to sprinkle it over the fish. Not super liberally, but kind of looks like it's had been out in the snow. Just about like that. I think you can see that. Then we'll go in with some sugar. About the same ratio. There's no real wrong answer. I have made it too salty in the past, so probably better a little under salty than over salty because you do get the addition of the smoke. So this is called a dry brine because the ingredients are dry going on the fish, but you'll find it makes its own brine. And overnight, this fish will just be layered in its own juices. I'm just gonna flip these guys over. And I'm gonna go in with the second package. Put this. This is a nice looking fish. I think this is going to be tasty. It's been a while since we've smoked fish, so we're running low. And we have an event coming up, and people like it when Marley takes her smoked salmon spread, which I could, in another video, show you that sometime if you're interested. Another layer of salt. dog in the background whining to get taken out. There we go. If I were to guess, that's probably about 4 tablespoons of salt I just put on there. Put in some more sugar. This is just brown sugar. I don't think it matters which you use. I use the dark brown sugar, not the fancy lighter sugar for cooking or baking. Okay, number 2 is done. Leave those ones face up for now. And I'm gonna get another 2 in there. That's about a tablespoon and a half. When I get up in the morning, I'll probably try to flip this fish around a little bit so it's getting an even amount of contact with the brine. Some more sugar. Some more sugar. I like to just put the sugar in a bowl so I'm not digging around the bag while I'm doing this. This sugar, unfortunately, hardened a little bit in the bag. Makes it more difficult to work with. I'll just break it up a little bit with my fingers here. There we go. I think I'll flip this over so it's fish to fish. I'm going to call that tray done. Boy, that's pretty heavy. So you see, it's just fish, salt, sugar. Nothing more complicated than that. Marley, do you think you could put a bit more sugar in that bowl? Good. That pan is about as full as I want it, so I'm going to move it over here. Get the next tray out. Lots. Pin bones in there. Just like that, that's the last package of fish dealt with. I'll just clean the one hand, add some salt. Might move a bit of fish from that other pan too, because they're not the same size, but this pan only has the one package of fish in it. Okay, I'll break up the sugar. So generally we prepare this the night before. It's about 9 o'clock on a Tuesday night, and then I'll get up in the morning, have some coffee, rinse the fish off thoroughly. I'll show you that process. And then what I want to do is I want to dry it a bit, because you don't want it to go in the smoker wet. Takes up the smoke flavor a lot better, and gets better color when it's dry, and has actually formed a bit of what I believe is called the pellicle. Though I more see that on brisket when I do that. Okay. See this tail piece is flopping out a bit, so I'll move this fish down. There we go. Pull one of these guys over from this side. that's that. That is about how long it takes to get fish ready the night before. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cover this up with saran wrap. I think we might have a rubber or plastic lid for one of them. I'm not sure which one fits. I'll clean up. It'll go in the spare fridge overnight, and I'll show what it looks like in the morning, and then we'll continue the video. Okay, here we are the next day, and you can see all the, I call it juice, but brine that's in there. A lot of moisture is gotten pulled out of this salmon. Technically, it would have been nice to get up during the middle of the night to flip this, but I didn't. I was sleeping, so I'll just give it a quick flip and let it brine for another couple hours before I put it on drying racks and then smoke it. The fish is, you can feel it's stiffened up a little as all this moisture leaves it, which is exactly what you want, because what we're doing by brining and smoking is we're curing the fish. Oh, and this is getting nice and cured. Here, let's... This guy's been on the bottom. Whew, that's chilly too. And that's it. We'll just give that a couple more hours. Then we'll give it a rinse, and then we'll get it drying. Okay, this next step could be one of the most important steps, and that's to thoroughly rinse your fish and dry it. I made the mistake of not rinsing once, and it did not turn out too good. So it's been in the brine another couple hours, so it's been about 12 hours total, and then we'll give it a rinse. So what I do is wash all that brine off in cold water. Then the most important part again is really giving it a good dry, because we're going to want a pellicle to form on this fish, which basically means we'll be letting it air dry in the cooler for probably another 6 or so hours or 7 hours. You could even do overnight. Marley pointed out to me that we may have bought more fish than we normally do, so we might do this in 2 batches, or cut the belly off because it's quite thin, and often it's overdone. And just smoke what we have. Gonna go through a lot of paper towel on this, but that's cheap compared to ruining your final product. Gonna set this on a smoker rack. I'll put 2 fillets on here. Put it on a large cookie sheet and let it start drying there. Let's do the next one. You can tell the flesh isn't as soft as when we first started, so the brining or curing process has worked, the meat's stiffened up a little as all that moisture came out of it. There we go. I'll just do a couple here for sake of demonstration, then I'll turn the camera off and meet you at the next phase. So nicely so. There's 2 fillets on the smoker rack. We're using a Bradley smoker. You'll see that when we go to put it in. Okay, here's what the fish looks like, all rinsed off, dried off. Still has a bit of shine to it, but once it's in the cooler for 6 to 12 to 24 hours, that pellicle will form. And Marley was telling me that's a key part of the process in smoking fish, to not get that white albumin coming up through the surface. As if it's cooked too hot and fast, so anything over 140. And if you haven't taken time to let that pellicle form, which also helps, I guess, seal the meat or somehow, and lets the smoke adhere better, which also forms a barrier. Now, these are fairly tight and there's lots of thin pieces, so my wife off camera is gonna trim some of the belly meat, which is really only about 1 centimeter thick, so it's gonna get way overdone. So she'll trim some of these up, make them look pretty, and then we'll spray the racks with a non-stick cooking spray, put them back on, trimmed up, and get ready to leave them in the cooler. It's about 20 to 10 now. I'm not sure if I'll get to smoking these today because we do have to go out later. Might experiment with 1 or 2. What you can do is sprinkle a little dry parsley on them. It doesn't impart any flavor, but it's just kind of decorative. And maybe some coarse black pepper on one or a part of one, just to see how that turns out. So Marley will get this trimmed up now. Okay, just a little update here. Marley has trimmed the fish. On this tray here is just the thinner belly pieces. We like to do those separate, just 1 for presentation, 2 they'll take way less time. We may do those today because it won't take long for them to dry out and form a pellicle. And then we have 4 trays here of salmon on lightly oiled racks, just to keep the skin from sticking. Got a couple pieces larger for when we may have people over. I haven't put any black pepper or parsley on anything yet. Not sure if I will, but I would do that at the last minute. I asked Marley what her strategy was for placement, and she tries to put similar thickness on each tray. We do end up rotating the trays in the smoker a little bit depending on how things are going, and we really want to watch that heat. So the key now will be getting that pellicle formed and maintaining a temperature of no more than 140 in the smoker. And this is going to go in the fridge now. It's about 10 a.m. You can see I've been doing this fairly real time, so the effort required is not that onerous. See you. Okay, just a little update. It's about 7:20 on the same day that we rinsed the fish and got some pellicle on it. We were out for dinner, so it's a bit late. We've got the smoker loaded up just with the small scraps. They're thin belly pieces. We're just gonna do these tonight. Might take a couple hours to get them smoking up to 140. And then we'll pull those off, and tomorrow we'll do the larger batch. We're using a Bradley smoker. It's digital with the pucks. Looks like it paused it there. We find this smoker pretty handy because you don't have to babysit it a lot. It puts the pucks up. It's about or into the smoker. It's about 3 per hour. There's also an oven temperature, but with our outside ambient temperature and the smoker on itself, we'll see what it comes out to before we decide whether or not to turn on the oven. So this should be done tonight, and then tomorrow we'll load it up with a big batch. Here's a little update of the final product. Marley was up ahead of me this morning, so she got up and took this out of the fridge, turned on the smoker and got it in. And she says it was on the smoker, in the smoker for about 4 hours of smoke, then a couple more hours just with the oven. And so we've been snacking on some already. Tastes delicious. Little bit of albumin on the surface, but nothing much. These couple larger pieces look great. So the next step is just vacuum sealing and freezing. I'm not sure. I'll do an update video on that because I kind of want to wrap this and we're packing for a trip tomorrow. So thanks for watching and hope you learned something.